Welcome in, everyone, to our first interview of our Dream Job series for the 2023-2024 academic year. My name is Danny Rubin, the founder of our company. We're called Rubin. We're based in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Show of hands if you're here for the first time. Anybody new to us? I know we have a lot of people who have been here before, and we love that. And we love the new names too. And also, hands up if you're watching this with your students right now, if they're in the classroom with you watching live. So welcome to everybody from around the country for being with us to kick off our Dream Job series. And we have a great conversation today with Calvin Copeland from Brothers Restaurant, not far from us in Norfolk, Virginia, a restaurant with a very cool backstory, which we'll talk about, and we promoted heading into this, founded by an NBA referee. And it's a great steakhouse in down here in southeastern Virginia. And we'll talk to Calvin just a moment about his job and his responsibilities. And before we do that, I have something really special to share with the group, something that we've been working on all last spring and summer, and we're about to put it out into the world. And you're one of the first groups to learn about it from us and have an opportunity to be a part of it. So I'm going to share that in just a second. Our company, for those unfamiliar, we provide online resources for communication skills. And this would go right into what I'm about to share. So teachers, can I see some hands if you have received emails from students that look like text messages? Have you ever received an email that looks like a text? Any hands for that? Or an email where the whole email has been in the subject line? Anybody received that in the last few months? I see some hands. So let me get right to what I want you to learn about us and how you can help us shape the future of education in many ways. And then we'll get to our conversation with Calvin. So Calvin, hang tight for just a sec and we'll
Sure.
we'll come right back to the conversation. So I'm gonna share my screen and let me pull up the right slide. Okay. All right, everybody watch me here. We before I offer the opportunity, let me show you what it is. We are about to launch a new resource called Propel. And Propel is a tool that will live in a student's email in Gmail or Outlook and offer suggestions to improve etiquette and professionalism as they type an email before a real email goes out. So it's not like a Grammarly type tool with like spelling and verb tense and things like that. It's more about the people skills that we want to see in our emails to make a great first impression. And let me show you a very quick example of how this works. Actually, let me ask in the chat first. Go to the chat and tell me, does your school use Gmail or Outlook? Type Gmail or Outlook. I'm curious the breakdown around the country. Does your school system use Gmail or Outlook? A lot of Gmails, Outlook, Gmail, Outlook. Okay. Looks like maybe a little more Gmail than Outlook today, but Outlook is definitely in the mix. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so follow what I'm showing you right here. This is an Outlook example, but it works in both environments. Let's say a student writes an email that's just sort of like a text message flying out the door, like, help me, please. I need help with my work. I can't find my assignment. An email that just doesn't have any structure, nothing formal, and it's hard to even know sometimes who the student is, right? If the student's email address is just numbers, you may have trouble even identifying who they are. And so what happens with our tool is on the side, we would scan the work. And then when the student, this little icon, this Propel icon blinks orange. When the student clicks it, it offers suggestions, sort of like putting their work in the margin, like a Word doc in the margin with light bulbs. So for example, this light bulb says, hey, your subject line is too short. Use the subject line to summarize your message. And we give suggestions of what subject lines look like, but we don't give them a subject line. We need them to learn how to write a subject line. So we offer a suggestion, they come over here and they can correct their subject line. Or another idea being like, hey, you didn't say good morning or good afternoon or good evening. It doesn't have a proper greeting to it. It just starts off with a thought. Or we didn't address the person with a proper title, like addressing you as the teacher with a proper Mr. or Ms. or doctor or coach and a last name. So we're looking for guidance like that to help students be more polished and professional when they send emails out. And this tool is coming. And to help you, to help us really launch this and make it have the impact you want it to have, we need your help. And let me tell you how that's going to work. We are launching a program called Propel Early Access, and it's going to happen October 23rd to November 10th. And what we're looking for are some teachers and administrators, some of you in the room right now, who could trial this for us for just a few weeks, give it a, let it run in your email, see how it feels, even have a student try it. Give us feedback on the experience so we can take it to a broader audience and help students around the country improve their email etiquette. So we have limited spots for this opportunity, and it's going to start October 23rd. And it's just a little bit of time to install it and give us feedback. You don't have to do something every single day. We're just giving you a few weeks to just play around. It's a very simple tool. So, and this is our hope and our promise, if it goes smoothly, is that you will not read any more sloppy student emails. We will help to clean up what's happening around the country. So if you're interested in this opportunity, which is free, okay, we need the feedback. Go to the chat right now, type the word interested and your email address. If you're interested in being part of our trial and trying this tool out on behalf of your students, we would love to meet with you in October and give you access to this tool so you can explore it and help us to help future students. Okay, so interested and your email address, and what we're going to do, okay, is Chelsea on our team is in the room, kind of in the background. We're going to reach out this week to chat for a minute so we can find a time on your calendar in the week of October 23rd to roll this out for you and give it to you. Okay, so a short phone call this week to schedule you for October, and we'll come back to you the week of October 23rd. And then you can help us to share this, to give us feedback so we can help, make this tool right for students around the country. Okay, I'll mention this again at the end. And if you're watching this on a recording, you can also be part of our early access program to be a tester. Just go to support@rubineducation.com, type Rubin Early Access. One more thing, and we'll get to our guest, that everybody here today is going to receive a certificate for being here. And it'll come to you through email on Thursday. So keep an eye out on your email for the certificate. All right. And thank you to those who expressed interest in being part of this early access. We hope it's a really, big idea that helps correct email writing behavior. And we look forward to speaking with you about that. All right. That's enough housekeeping notes. Let's bring in our special guest, Calvin Copeland from Brothers Restaurant in Norfolk. And Calvin, let's start by telling everybody about your role at the restaurant, or the different roles and responsibilities that you have, and how long you've worked there. Go ahead.
I've been there for about 3 years now, and I've developed through a few different roles. So I started off in any role I could help the restaurant. So that's a big part of my job, team team building, and what's the right word I'm looking for here?
Like learning how to keep your group together, kind of keeping everybody moving on
Yes,
to the same
keeping
task every
everything.
night.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. And so how did you end up working there at all? Like, how did you get a job there? Do you remember that process from 3 years ago?
Um, that was quite a long time ago, but I believe I contacted. So Tony is now my stepfather. So he married my
Oh,
mom.
okay.
Yes. I
Okay.
had I only had limited restaurant experience, but
Okay.
I was interested in the opportunity. It was something exciting, and I knew I would be dedicated and hard working for them. So I
Okay.
just plugged
So
myself
so
in.
you have a direct connection to the founder. And let's explain to the group. So this restaurant, Brothers, that last name is the last name of the founder, right? And
Yeah.
he is, where was that? Here we go. This is Tony Brothers, who's the founder, and he is an NBA referee, right? So he spent, and he's still an NBA referee, right? He's still working in the NBA. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct.
So he has been out there refereeing NBA games, and then he had this idea, maybe this long time dream that he wanted to start a restaurant. Is that like kind of how it went down?
Yeah, so he's from Norfolk, like you were saying. So he definitely had a few ideas he wanted to bring to Norfolk, and a restaurant was definitely one of them.
Okay. And so when you go to work now at the restaurant, what are some things that you're doing, every night? And while we talk about it, let's look at the dinner menu because it's a nice menu. It's steak, it's seafood,
I'm getting
it's a,
hungry.
it's a nice place. So when you go to work, what's the first thing you do and what does your day look like?
When I first come in, I like to talk to my people, just it's a very family oriented and very friendly environment. We all get along very well. So we
Okay.
just come in, kind of talk a little bit. But after that, we all make sure everything's in order. As a fine dining restaurant, you want to make sure the quality is there and the cleanliness is a part of the routine we use to get the day started.
Okay. And while we're talking, I want to open up the Q&A. If you look at the Q&A part of Zoom, I want to encourage students and teachers to submit their questions. And when you submit questions, please include your name and your school so we can give you proper credit. And we'll ask questions to Calvin about working in a high-end steak and seafood restaurant that is owned by a veteran NBA referee. So, Kevin, what is your title today? What do you consider yourself? What's your role?
I consider myself a manager, but when I clock in, I have so many titles I can clock in under, like bartender, server, host, uh, even
Okay,
the dish pick. I can clock in anywhere. But
okay.
I would consider myself a manager. That's what
And
the
what
title.
role do you enjoy the most? What do you love to do the most
Oh, that's
in
a
the
tough
restaurant?
one. Tough one.
Which one?
I said that's a really 12 question, Dan. Yeah, maybe it depends on the day, but if I had to pick a job, it'd probably be bartending. I just like the. I was actually thinking about going to school for mixology.
Hmm.
Bartending is pretty cool. I wasn't too big in alcohol, but I like to learn things, and I've been learning a lot about spirits and mixing and things of that nature.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And we have some questions coming in. And try to put the questions, if you can, please, in the Q&A, not the chat. It's easier to keep track of the questions that way. But I'll get some from the chat. And also make sure if you do use the chat, it says everyone, not host and panelists. So, question from Denise in Grassfield High School, which is not far from you in
Yeah.
Chesapeake, Virginia. She said, "What experience do you need for entry level? Like, can somebody in high school come and work at Brothers?"
Yes, we do hire younger high school students. I would believe just about some experience, maybe serving. It depends on the role you were applying for. We usually try to hire more experienced bartenders, but not. We have had took on bartenders like myself. I learned how to bartend at Brothers. You just have to, be dedicated and willing to learn and accept different roles. But as far as experience, for as like management, you probably have a few years of working in that role.
Okay.
Serving, we're more beginner friendly. So
Okay, it's like, but you're like at a not, it's a higher end restaurant. It's expensive
yeah.
meals. So would you prefer somebody to come to you if they want to be a server? Would you start them like bussing tables at the hosting and then try to move them up to waiting tables if they've never waited tables before?
So what we do is we have had some experienced service from 20 years plus to 1 year. So if we have a less experienced crew, we will bring in like an experienced trainer to train our crew to be more professional.
Okay. Okay. We have some other questions here. Um, how old do you need to be to bartend? Do you need to be 21 or can you be
21.
younger than 21?
21.
Oh, yeah. Okay. 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 Here's a question from Joseph, Canadian Valley Technical Center. And we were talking about this before we started. How do you provide a great customer service experience? What does that mean at Brothers to have like for people to sit down and have like an incredible meal, start to finish? Like, what does that experience look like for them? What do you guys do?
We want to make you feel at home as possible. I think it's just about the family based people we have in there. Like my mom, Tony's now part of the family. We brought in some of my family, like brothers, and his son is in there. So we all just, we all have a different connection to the restaurant that you can feel through your experience when you come
Mm,
in. We
okay.
make sure you feel welcome inside, and as soon as you leave, we try to create this different experience in Norfolk that you really can't find. We have live jazz entertainment,
Right.
and we just want to make everyone feel just a place of calm and smoothness when you come into the restaurant.
I like that. And it's like a little bit of a family environment atmosphere because you're all connected, as a family unit, to be part of that. What another good question from James Hatter, CRYROP in California. What characteristics do you look for in a new employee? Do you want to see like energy? Do you want to see what do you look for to bring somebody in and be an employee?
We want someone's ready to work, of course. As far as characteristic characteristics and
Characteristics. Yep.
characteristics and experiences, we look for people that have been in the restaurant environment, knows what it takes to knows what it takes to take care of a customer and customer service and be a part of a team.
Okay. A lot of good questions here. Thank you, everybody, for
Yes, great
all the
question.
questions. And I'm just scanning around in the chat and the Q&A. Michelle McCoy, Mountain View High School, El Monte, California. Did you have any experience with food service before Brothers? Was this all new for you? And also, we start with that. Was this like brand new to you being in a restaurant?
In a restaurant, yes, I have worked around food. I had like food handling experience and cooking experience, but as far as restaurant and customer service, it was pretty new to me.
Okay.
Pretty
Um,
new.
would you recommend, and this is sort of a related to Michelle's question, would you recommend students take any classes in high school about like working in restaurants or food service or cooking? Like, would that be a good idea before they would, show up at your door looking for a job?
I think that would be an excellent idea to have some type of knowledge and, just to have some type of confidence when you're walking into the building and knowledge. I think that'll help a lot in any areas you might have in life.
What are some skills that like you think are really, really critical in a restaurant that when somebody walks off the street and they have it, you're like, ah, great. Is it like like cooking skills? Is it like
Cooking would be great.
yeah,
My personal answer would be like a charismatic person, a person that can connect with people and someone that's patient and kind of y- it's just a certain type of personality you want to have in a restaurant. You can't be too mean or closed
yep,
off. You
yep.
want to be more open, a
Yeah,
little
like
more bubbly. Friendly.
how do you handle like difficult people when they're like, they're like demanding, they keep sending food back or they have an attitude. Like how do you handle that?
We all have our different experiences and our different life ventures, but me personally, I'm very patient, so I keep it professional. So if someone has been difficult, I still try to hope that I can change their experience and hoping they can enjoy themselves on their night out. It's supposed to be like a fun night out, with jazz music in the background. It's supposed to be a lovely experience. So I try to keep it that way. And even if they're being rude or, having their type of fit or whatever the case is, I keep it professional and I will make sure that I can try to turn it around or do whatever I can that it is that they wanna
Okay.
that they feel they need.
And I know that recently you moved from the original location to a
Yeah.
location in the like a big mall. What
Yeah.
was that experience like being part of that move? Were you like physically carrying equipment down the
We
street?
were, yeah. Yes, we did carry equipment. We actually built a lot of the tables. We did some of the painting. It was really cool. Besides the part where it was shut down for a few, it was like a month. So it's a difficult time, but we all came together. We built the restaurant and we worked really hard on the new place. It came together really nice. It's a very beautiful spot.
Yeah, I see. And this is the new spot, right? This picture right
Yes,
here, like out with
that's the outdoor
outside of the
seating right
mall.
there. Yes, we
Yeah.
built those tables outside. We did a lot of work on the new place.
Do people come in because they heard that an NBA referee started a restaurant? They wanted to check it out. Like, is that like a draw? Does that help you get
It's a big
customers?
draw. Yes, a lot of customers, a lot of people just hear about us and they come check us out because they just want to see the place itself. And it is very, a lot of people are really impressed and taken back how beautiful the spot is.
Yeah, I recognize this guy. If anybody watch ESPN, this is Jay Harris. He's a TV personality on ESPN, and he has connection to the Norfolk area. And he looks like he came to Brothers, took a picture. And this guy
Yeah,
looks familiar too, although I can't place that. Who's that?
yeah.
Who's that?
We
That
have a
looks
lot
like
of celebrities and
yeah, it's like a famous
famous
guy.
people.
So it looks like it's a kind of like the place to be. How often does Tony
He was in there
Brothers
yesterday.
come?
He comes often.
Yeah.
He comes there to eat a lot. He comes there to even work. I've seen him in the dish pit. I've seen him in the kitchen. He really
Okay.
comes in a lot. Yeah.
So he when he's there, he comes in. He helps out whatever
He
needs to
does.
be
He
done.
does. He does. Yeah, he does.
The food looks pretty good to me. It's almost
It's
lunchtime on
amazing.
the East Coast, so I'm getting hungry just looking at your Instagram or the photo gallery. Um, thank you all for the questions. We have some other questions here. What is like to be a hostess or a host or bus boy? What's like the starting hourly wage? Can you share that? What would somebody expect? Like
Uh, 14 to 16, I believe. Yeah.
$14 to $16 an hour?
Yes.
Hey, raise your hand if you think that's pretty good. Starting out in a restaurant. I
Yes.
think so. I see some hands up for that. That's more than I thought you were going to say. That seems pretty good for if you're in
Yes.
high school
Very
or you're in
fair.
college, you're just trying to finish school and you do this on the side. That's pretty good. Let me pick a few more questions out. And by the way, people are asking. Yes, we will be recording this and we will be putting it on our YouTube channel. And in fact, Chelsea, if you don't mind, can you share the link to our YouTube channel in the chat? So that folks, please, we recommend you subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you'll get notified when we put new sessions out. Let me, what question here from Lori from the Department of Rehabilitation. What behavior might get somebody fired or what could really hurt
Really?
their chances to stay on the team? What would you say?
I would say, not showing up to work.
Not showing up to
Uh,
work.
yeah, not
Do you
showing
have
up to work. Big one.
like if they're late one time, is it like a warning and then it's like don't do it again? Or I'm sure you've had these situations with people who they're not there and like how much, you know, uh slack do
Well,
you give them?
we are not so much on a like a corporate business. We're more of a like a like I say, family
Yep,
oriented business.
yep.
So we're more understanding of how life works and different people's situations. So if there's something that holds you back from being on time, if you need to be like 15 or 30 minutes into your shift, we are very lenient. So
You're
tardiness
understanding.
isn't a big issue. We usually try to get everyone in an hour or hour and 30 before work starts, just to see if we need to cover you or work around. But we are very, lenient and understanding in the restaurant.
Okay. Okay. Question here from Joseph Romano. Do you promote like people busing tables to waiters and waitresses? Is there like Is that like a path that you've had people go through? Like they start washing dishes or bussing and then they move up?
That is a very unique path. A lot of people don't start that way. A lot of our servers don't even like to touch the dirty dishes. But me personally and my brother, we have been in the dish pit, and I just started off, I was just getting really friendly with everyone, and we all clicked together, and then they started showing me how serving worked, and then I just got into it, and they brought in a trainer. He was a very professional gentleman. He worked at like Ruth Chris, and it was a really technical steakhouse. You have to have certain certificates and educations, and he came in, he showed us how to be professional and what it takes to provide like a quality experience. So that's how I got into it. He taught us how to he showed us to how to really dive into the experience. Like he told it we had to do a quiz on the menu. Hadn't done anything like that. And then he would give us pointers on how we could, just better ourselves through his experience and how we were working and stuff like that.
So I'm curious about that. When he like quizzed you on the menu, like what would he say? Like he's trying to make sure you know all like the little details of how the different types of steak options or the like. What's an example of like how he quizzed you on the menu?
He definitely wanted you to know the menu, but he would quiz you. He would ask you to take a few appetizers, like a couple appetizers, a couple entrees, and a couple desserts. And so you can feature them to your table when you have a guest that, is new to the restaurant. You want to have some type of suggestion or some way you could, just guide them through the experience.
Yeah, you want to seem like you're in total control, like
Yeah,
and because oftentimes what if like what you recommend is that oftentimes what people are going to order because they're
it
like,
is.
oh, I'll have that because you recommended it.
Yes. And they definitely will remember that when you recommend something, they will have a little more confidence in you and the restaurant itself. So, like I said, I like bartender. I found a few drinks that I always recommend and people love. It's like a white peach Cosmo pie. It's really good. It's one of our favorites here at the restaurant. I just yesterday recommended to one of our customers and she really loved it. And it just started off the experience on a really good note. So.
Huh? Do you have some servers who don't write down people's orders? They try to memorize it.
Oh, that's me. Yeah, I don't use my book anymore. I try to.
Okay, I have a
I
question
really get
about
better.
that because
Yeah.
students, raise your hand if you think that's that you could do that. You could take like long, complicated orders without writing it down. I don't think I could. I
I
feel like
started
I'd
off with
miss
a book.
something. And all right, so how many people like? Is there a limit to how many people at a table? You're like, all right, now I got to write this down. Or are you just like
Definitely,
whatever the
definitely.
party size?
There's a limit. Personally, I started off using my book for every table, but gradually over the years, I know the menu and what there's like a limited amount of options and combinations you can have. So, but as far as party size, I would say about up to 8 people.
Wow.
I don't want to start messing things up. So I just get my book and take a little notes. But
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
8 people is still a lot because they're like, well, I want my steak this way and I want my fish this way. And I'm like, I mean, you gotta really know, like you said, know the menu because
yeah.
it's not just about the order, it's like how they want their order. Like all
Yes.
the little things they want to change. Oh, but can I have extra this or hold that? And I think that is super impressive. You can do it up to 8 people
Yes, a
because
lot of
these are
people are
like
impressed.
big orders.
So our menu, we have set size, but you can do substitutions. So that's when maybe the most I wouldn't say complicated. That's the most changes you have to make. But other than that, I usually I don't know. I
Because
just
you have
stopped using
multiple
my book.
menus. I mean, you
Yes,
have
I
brunch, lunch, dinner. You have a really big wine list. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, even the wine list. There's so many wines here. Like, and it just seems like I'm so impressed that you could like keep it in your head. Like, they're like, oh
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I can't even pronounce half of these wines, And it's like, yeah, let's have a bottle of this and a bottle of that and this. And I bet some people come in like ready to, have a big night. Like
Yes.
they're ready. This is like a big meal. It's a big occasion, and they're gonna go big. They're gonna order a ton of things, right? I mean, that's what you want. But then it's
Yeah.
like coming at you. I find that so impressive.
Yeah,
Um,
I have multiple tables. I don't use my book, but I try to keep the experience personal. So when you're talking to me, I'm not just taking your order. I'm really trying to, make sure you get everything you want and
mm,
have a great experience. So you ask me for some, I will remember. I'm like, oh yeah, she wanted this. She wanted wine with her meal. They wanted wine with their steak when it comes out, or she doesn't like this size, so this is the size she wants. So it's really more of it's a personal thing for me. It's like dedication. Like I said, my mother's in there, my father's in there. So I have a different connection. So I guess that helps me deliver a certain quality and experience. But as far as the book, yeah, I just dropped the book. And we have a large party. I'll pick it up just to make sure everything goes smooth. But I don't really have an issue remembering what my people have
man,
ordered.
maybe you should go into theater and start memorizing some lines.
Yeah,
Be on
I want to do
play.
acting. Acting
I'm
sounds
telling
fun
you,
too.
you could do it. I feel like your brain is ready to remember like a whole
I think
script
so.
because
Thank you.
man, that is a lot. All right, we'll wrap up in just a minute or two with Calvin, who I think it's just been great. I really enjoyed getting to know you and the work that you're doing and the restaurant. I hope the students have found it useful. A question I want to ask one more question from
Yeah.
Lori. She said, "You might remember the menu, but how do the cooks know what they need to make?" So are you? That's a good question. Are you going back and like punching it in somewhere?
Yes.
Like, how do the
I
cooks see the order if it's all in your head?
I take it in my head and then I'll immediately go to the computer after I leave the table. So I don't have to remember it for too long. So that's what we do. We go to the table. I start off personally seeing if they may want like an appetizer or a salad or a soup. And then I'll put that in the computer and it'll pop up on the cook screen
Okay.
and we'll go from
Okay. So you immediately run to the computer while it's like right in the front of your brain,
there. Yep.
put it in there, and then it's like after you type it, it's gone. And then you're like, go to the next table for the next order. It's just like it's all just sitting right there for like 30 seconds or 45 seconds or
A
something.
good enough time. Yeah.
Enough time to like because like if somebody came over to you after you turn from the table and like, hey, I got a question, or you're like, no, 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 I can't talk right now. Like I gotta go punch this in.
Right. Don't distract me. Don't ask me too
Right.
many questions right after I
I
leave the
gotta.
table.
I'm sorry. I'll have to get to you in just a moment. Let me get these appetizers and wines in before I
Right.
completely forget what I have to do. Okay. So hang tight 1 second, Calvin. We'll wrap up in just a minute. I want to before we go, and we'll leave a few minutes early. We're gonna try this season to go a little bit shorter than before, just to get everybody on their way than what we've done in the past, which was a full 45 minutes. I want to reiterate to the group, if you missed it, that we have this special opportunity, which is free. All of our resources from the webinars are free, called Propel Early Access. And we have this new tool that we're rolling out to schools that will give students instant email etiquette advice, instant advice when they're writing emails in Gmail and Outlook to correct their professional mistakes and learning how to write polished, mature messages to teachers and to employers, whoever else. And it's October 23rd to November 10th. We want teachers to play around with the tool for a few minutes in that time frame. And if you're interested in being part of that, there's again no cost. We'd love your feedback and for you to be part of something new and help your students to communicate better. Just go to the chat, type interested and your email, and all it will take is a 10-minute meeting the week of October 23rd, and we'll provide you with access to this tool so that you can explore it. And we'll be in touch this week with a quick phone call just to schedule your time with us in October. But we're going to be rolling this out in a much louder way in the next couple of weeks. But we're telling you early because you're here with us, and we have limited spots for this. So if you're interested, please say interested in your email right now, and secure your spot before they fill up. We'd love for you to help us be a partner with us to help your students writing emails. And if you're watching this on a recording, you can also have the same opportunity just email support@Rubin Education with Rubin early access, and we'll get you on our calendar. And finally, everybody's going to get a certificate for being here today. Look out for that certificate and the recording on Thursday. Okay. So I will come back to Calvin. We'll wrap up and just say thank you very much for being part of this and for sharing with students, as you saw, all over the country who are interested in working in restaurants. I think you gave us some great insight. I hope you have a good day at work today. And I hope I
Thank you.
didn't like jinx you and now you're going to mess up somebody's order. I hope that's not going to happen because we kept talking about it. So good luck taking big orders from big parties.
I
And
might use
thank
my
you.
book
Yeah.
today to make sure.
Yeah. So now I'm getting in your head, and I don't want to give you any
Yeah.
bad vibes. But thank you all for being here. We hope to see you you'll see in 2 weeks' time. We'll have another session with a hairstylist who works on TV and movies. She's worked on Hulu and Showtime shows doing hair. That'll be really cool. So we'll see you on September 26th. You'll see emails about that. And thank you all for being here. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. Thank you, Calvin.